right. We are good to go, everybody. Let me turn this down. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great day. This is our first time on Facebook Live and YouTube Live at the same time, so I'm learning new ways to do things and having fun doing that. So great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. So today I wanted to go over something that I love doing. I was actually just playing around with this with someone. It's pretty quick. It's really going over the benefits of owning real estate. You know, I meet with a lot of buyers, and constantly the buyers are talking about the monthly payment, right? Everybody looks at what's the total cost of the house. You know, let's say it's $1,700 a month, and they're paying $1,300 a month rent. They're like, why should I own the house? And a lot of people, and you may know this, but a lot of other people don't know really the tax incentives of buying a house. So really quick today, I just want to run down with you really the incentives, because it gets pretty ridiculous. Like, you can buy and own a house for like $49 a month at the end of the day. And let me show you how we come across that. So let me share my screen with you, okay? So you can see my rent versus own sheet. If you'd like a copy of this, just comment below your email address. I'll shoot you a copy of it so you can do it yourself. But let me run these numbers with you, okay? So let's say you're buying a $200,000 house, okay? So I pull up this, let's say $250,000 house, okay? $250,000 house, and you're going FHA financing, so that means you're putting 3.5% down, okay? So that would mean you need to put $8,750 down, okay? Today's interest rate, 2.5% for a 30-year loan. Your estimated yearly taxes and insurance, well, let's say the insurance is $1,000 a year. We don't know what house we're talking about, so I don't know what the insurance are or the taxes. So let's say the taxes are $5,000, your insurance is $1,000, the purchase price is $250,000. With PMI, okay, your total payment is going to be $1,639 per month. Okay, now if you are renting a house and paying $1,300 a month rent, maybe I can't swing that. But let me really show you why you can't afford not to be able to swing this. Is when you purchase a property, you're looking at being able to write off your insurance, your mortgage insurance, and also your taxes. And that's really big. So if you're paying $1,639 a month, in the first year alone, you're going to spend over $6,733 in interest, and you're going to pay $5,000 to your local town or city. That's an $11,000 write-off, okay? So I'm going to switch back to my computer screen so you guys can play along here. And I'm not an accountant, but I just play one on TV. There's $11,000 right there, okay, that you get to write off buying a $250,000 house FHA with 2.5% interest and just $8,000 down. You get an $11,000 write-off. But let me show you really the power of that, of renting versus owning, okay? Let's say you rent and you pay $1,300 a month. Okay, the total payment on this is $1,639. Okay, so $1,639 is owning the house. $1,300 is renting. Well, let's say you make $60,000 a year. Okay, if you're renting, you get to pay $17,850 per year in taxes. Okay, that's in Rhode Island here roughly. That's $1,488 a month. Same thing if you bought a house. You know, you go buy a house, your boss doesn't give you a raise, at least not anywhere that I know. So the difference, though, is when you purchase a property, you get to write that $60,000 down, right? We said this before on this last page, was what I have here, is you get $11,000 write-off. So Uncle Sam no longer sees you, okay, making $60,000 a year. He sees you having a write-off of $11,073, right? So the new taxable income, Uncle Sam's tax rate, is $48,927. There's a difference there. Like I said, as a tenant, you're renting, you don't have that write-off. Your income is going to be $60,000 a year. You're going to pay $17,850 a year, or $1,488 a month in taxes. But if you're owning a house, now you're going to only pay $14,067 a year in taxes to the state and IRS, and you're going to pay $1,172, much less. In fact, it's a difference, okay, the tax savings of $316 per month right up front. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if you were renting a house, okay, it's $1,300 a month. The monthly payment is $1,639 to own. Yes, you got to pay $1,639 to the bank, but you get to write off $316 a month in taxes. Okay, so that really brings your true cost down to $1,323 a month. If you're renting, you're paying $1,300, period. Okay, the other problem we want to talk about, right, is when you're renting a house, you get no appreciation, right? You can stay there, let's say 5, 6, 7, 10 years. You don't get more money from the landlord because you've been there for so long, right? If you're lucky, you get your security deposit back, right? But you don't get an appreciation or any of those things from the landlord because you've been there, okay? With owning a home, you get the appreciation of what I call forced savings, right? So what do I mean by forced savings? Well, forced savings is really coming into the fact when you take out a mortgage of $250,000, every single time you make a mortgage payment, you're paying that principal down, right? In the first year, okay, you're going to pay that mortgage down $5,565, right? Every month you make a mortgage payment, it's $463 you're paying off the mortgage for the first year, okay? And it gets more and more as the time goes on. So there's some forced savings in there. So not only, as I go back to this screen, do you get the monthly cost of ownership is actually only $23 more to own the house than it is a rent, we got to talk about appreciation, right? So if we looked at appreciation, NAR says the average person that's saying a house is 10 years, is average yearly appreciations between 3 to 5%. So if we went on the low 3% a year and you bought that $250,000 house, okay, that $250,000 house would be worth $335,000 in 10 years. But not only that, while you were paying your mortgage for those 10 years, you were actually paying your mortgage down, right? Your payoff after 10 years would be $183,034. Let's just say $183,000. So you now turn around and take your $335,000 house. In fact, it would be worth $335,979.06. You would go and sell that, and you would make, after you're paying off your mortgage after those 10 years, $152,000. Okay, nice check, much higher than what you would get in return for renting. And keep in mind, your mortgage and interest, your principal and interest payment stays the same for 30 years. It's not, unless you did some kind of floating mortgage or a variable interest rate mortgage. Most people do a locked-in rate, okay? But if you were continuing to rent, it would go up and up and up every single year most of the time. So when you sold this house, you now made $152,000. If you took that money, that $152,000, and broke that down to the 10 years and the 120 payments you made, okay, that would be that'd be like your home giving you $1,274 each payment you made for those 10 years back. Meaning you paid $1,323, and because you made $152,000 on the house when you sold it in 10 years, you got $1,274 back. If you just subtract those two, that's $49 a month. There you go, folks. $49 a month is what the real true ownership of the home was. Break that down to even more ridiculous. That's $11.30 per week or $1.61 per day if you own the house. I want to do that quick math with you guys. I thought it was pretty interesting. I've known this for a while being in the industry, but I want to share it with you guys. There's a lot more than just a monthly payment when you buy a house. There's the tax write-offs, right? It's pretty much equal at $1,300 a month here for a $250,000 house, $23 more just in your tax write-offs that you get. So at the end of the year, you're going to get more money back. But not even just that, it's also the appreciation of owning it versus renting it and being able to sell it later in the future. So hopefully you watch this. Hopefully you like this video. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. I think it's huge. If you'd like me to break this down a little slower to you guys, because I kind of just spat this out pretty quick, or if you'd like a copy of this form, put your email below. I'll shoot you an email, and you can have it. If you'd like me to do it for you, feel free to email me, nathan@nathanclarkteam.com. I can break it down for you, what you do in rent and what it would cost you. I'm not an accountant. That's my disclaimer. You should talk to an accountant because everybody's tax liabilities are different. But that is a breakdown of how your tax benefits benefit you from owning versus renting. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope everybody has a great